peeler. I don't know if anybody's caught it in Sky or anything, but he put the ball in with his back heel, 16 yards out into the top left corner, and this goal's classified as one of the best goals ever in the world.
Matty Burrows, yes.
Right. So what it got me thinking was, there's a population over there about 1.7 million. It's about the same size as the west of Scotland. I was just wondering whether we might see in some time maybe a player coming through from Northern Ireland.
Yes, it's a good market, and certainly there are options of that. If we bring a player from Northern Ireland or from England for that matter, we have to measure it in terms of how much it will cost the club. They'll have to be put up in digs and housing, so we have to cherry pick very carefully. They would have to be a very good player if we bring them over and we go to that expense as a club. But certainly there's a market there. And the problem is, quite a few of the Northern Ireland lads go to the Liverpools and the Arsenals, and the good ones, and then the ones that are not just at that level go to championship clubs in England. And I feel that player development, it fluctuates so much, because you can get a player coming through at 15 and 16 and making international schoolboy football, and at 19 he's maybe an early developer, and the other ones will have caught him up, and you could make an investment in a very good 15-year-old, 16-year-old to come to Kilmarnock, but it might not come to fruition because of the way players are, and it's a difficult one. But there are players there, certainly, that we could avail of, and I think that we are looking at it, but they would have to be special.
We've had loads of trialists from Northern Ireland from last summer, and it is a market that obviously Kenny knows really well and knows everybody there, so there are good players there, there's no question.
But there's good players in Ayrshire, and we've seen a lot of good players there too, and it's just getting them into the setup and getting them involved.
Thanks, guys. Any other questions, folks? Yep.
What's the position with Alan Croom?
Alan is improving immensely. He's now he took part of the training session today. The ones who didn't start the match yesterday did the full training session today. The other ones did the recovery session. So Alan took part in that. So he was in goals and diving about. So that was great to see. So he is improving. Still feeling weakness in his groin area, and every now and then he has a little discomfort from that area as well. But he is improving, and he's now doing goalkeeping, which is great. It has been a long road for him to come back, and he's making long steps.
Cheers, Mixon. Any other questions, folks? Yeah, buddy?
I just wondered if you had any feedback from Craig Levine as to whether there's any possibility of Cammy Bell actually playing in the game next week.
Cammy Bell is in the squad.
Yeah, I know he's in the squad, but I wondered if he's actually got a chance of playing, because I saw Craig Gordon at the weekend and I thought he had a stinker.
Yeah, well, no feedback. I've not spoken to Craig Levine at all. So delighted that Cammy's in the squad. I think that's a real confidence booster for him, and acknowledgement how well he's done and effort he's put in. We're delighted that he's there. Hopefully get some playing time. It would be fantastic. But first and foremost, he's there. And, he must have done well last time to be called up again. So we're delighted.
Cheers. It's an excellent achievement by Cammy. Great recognition for both him and the club. Any other questions, folks? Yeah.
See the trialists that were here in the summer. Is there the likelihood of getting any of them back in to have another look at them, or to see maybe if they've improved any for the first time you've seen them?
Very unlikely. I know sometimes trialists come in and they're unfit, but if a trialist comes on trial unfit, that tells a story. If you're a footballer and you're out of job and you have a chance to go on trial and you think you want to go on trial somewhere, would you not make sure that your fitness level was right up there, maximum? Give yourself a chance. So often trialists come in and first thing they tell us is that oh, I'm about 60%, well, I can, my fitness level and all that. And we ask why, and they say that well, I haven't been involved with the team and all that. So, you can look after your fitness, look after yourself many other ways, and make sure that when you go on trial, you are fit and ready to show your best talent. Yes, there might have been one or two trialists as well that maybe financially it wasn't possible. If those players come back to us and say that they've dropped their wage demands, then possibly yes. Other ones, we made a decision not to call for any of those players because they're different type or for whatever reason. So the chances of that are quite minimum. I think the best chance are those that asking too much money in the first place. And it is difficult. There's loads of unemployed players in Europe and in the world. So it might well be that one or two players will come back and say that they reduce their demands.
No, well, that was just really much just with the deal that was offered to New Zealand, and then unfortunately he didn't pass the medical, but I wasn't sure if he'd maybe be looked at again as to see if his situation had changed. But certainly a few years ago I would have thought if he had passed the medical he'd have done a job for us, but obviously
no
due to the
question.
medical situation.
Buzelen is a fantastic football player and tremendous guy, all but unfortunately he had some medical problems and it wasn't possible. I value Buzelen highly and want to sign him, but it wasn't possible, unfortunately.
Okay, no, thanks, Maxim. Any other questions, folks? Anybody?
I had an interview 5 or 6 weeks ago talking about a young player coming in who was one for the future. It was a striker, I think it was, who was going to go home and get stuff and come back. Was that William Gross you were
Yes.
talking about? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and he's now signed, and he went home. He was really fit before that. Went home. There were some problems with the papers, and we wanted to make sure that there was no hidden compensation surprise somewhere. And he was there for just over a month, maybe a month and a half, quite a long period. Came back and he had put a little bit of weight on. So we got a new member in our fat club.
I'll make no comment on that.
Next question.
That's my t-shirt, by the way, up there. Small variety. Any other questions, folks? Anybody?
There's a finances for next season rely on how high up the table we finish this season?
It's not for me to decide. It's chairman and the management committee. They decide that. So.
Taking through my terms, the answer is yeah. That's an influence because there's a substantial difference in the payment that comes from the SPL depending on league positions. Last year it was about £80,000 per league position, and I think it's been well advertised before that we have been budgeting for the last few years, including this year, on amongst other things finishing 7th place in terms of the amount of money that would come in from that particular source. So there's a financial projection, and if that projection turns out to be right, then we would know at this stage what the budget for players is going to be next year. If we exceed the position that we're in this year, then he's going to have a smile on his face. So there is certainly an influence between league position and the funds available for every aspect of Kilmarnock Football Club, including player budgets.
Thanks, John. Any other questions, folks? Yeah.
Just a quick one. Is there any games likely to come in the transfer window that you've maybe seen, you can maybe get in loan, that you're keeping an eye on if, like Eremenko goes, there's somebody there that you can call on?
Yeah, like I said, we have trials coming in, and we'll look at various options, and hopefully there's players that we can bring in and will strengthen us. So we are on a constant look at, and hopefully if something like that happens, hopefully it doesn't, but if it happens, then we want to be prepared. Yeah, it would be very difficult to replace him, that's for sure. Have to be one of those, like his situation, that just opportunity, just unique.
Okay, just take maybe one or two more questions, folks. I think we've covered the holiday issues. Anything else? Or we just let the guys go? That was? Okay, no. Well, just again, just to reiterate on behalf, I'm sure, of all Kilmarnock fans, it's a delight to come and watch the team at the moment, and it's purely down to you two guys. So,
no, it's not.
You know, and your hard work.
Players.
And it is okay. You should look at my wife, you're snapping at me. I've been reprimanded by the manager. No, as I say, he's only been modest here. The players are obviously worked very hard because they enjoy the environment now that they're working under. So I think it all ends up back in here, sir. Back to you. Thank you very much. As I say, it's been fantastic, long way at last, and it goes without saying that we're one Mixfield kind of here for many, many years yet. So please put your hands together and show your appreciation.